Ever wish you could remember like every little detail of a book you read ages ago? Or like someone's name, boom, right after meeting them, just once.
It's pretty amazing what they can do.
I know, right? It's nuts.
Yeah.
Today we're diving deep into the world of memory athletes.
Oh, yeah.
Those folks who seem to, like, cracked the code to incredible memory feats.
It really is amazing what they can do, isn't it? But the thing is, it's not magic.
Right.
It's method.
Okay.
These memory champions use specific techniques to train their brains, turning these seemingly impossible feats into, well, achievable skills.
So we're not talking about like some kind of inborn photographic memory.
Not exactly.
Okay.
While some people might have like a natural predisposition for remembering certain things, the real secret lies in techniques, practice, and a whole lot of dedication.
Gotcha.
We've got this top 10 list of memory feats here.
Okay.
Some of these are just mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Like Akira Haraguchi, who memorized over 100,000 digits of pi.
Oh, wow. 100,000 digits?
Yeah.
I struggled to remember where I put my keys. So it's not just brute force memorization then.
No.
What kind of techniques are we talking about here?
Think of it like building a mental toolbox.
Okay.
One of the most powerful tools is the method of loci,
Okay.
or the memory palace technique.
Right. I've heard of that.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Imagine you're walking through a familiar place, like your home.
Okay.
Now attach pieces of information you want to remember to specific locations.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So if I'm trying to memorize the speech,
Right.
I could associate the opening lines with like my front door,
Yeah.
the next point with the coat rack, and so on.
Exactly. The more vivid and unusual the image you create, the better it sticks.
Okay.
Let's say you need to remember to buy milk, bread, and eggs.
Okay.
Picture a giant carton of milk spilling over your doorstep,
Okay.
a loaf of bread swinging from your chandelier,
Uh-huh.
and eggs hatching into baby chickens on your sofa.
Okay, that's definitely memorable.
Right. Yeah, and it's making more sense now how these memory athletes can achieve such incredible feats.
Another key technique is chunking,
Okay.
which breaks down large pieces of information into smaller, more manageable units.
Okay.
It's like memorizing a phone number. We naturally group the digits together.
Oh, yeah.
Our pi champion, Akira Haraguchi,
Right.
likely used chunking to break down those 100,000 digits
Yeah.
into memorable chunks.
Makes sense. I can see how chunking could apply to things like, I don't know, remembering historical dates
Yeah,
or long lists of items.
absolutely.
And then there's speed. I mean, we've got Alex Mullen on this list.
Oh, yeah.
Memorizing a deck of cards in under 15 seconds.
It's insane.
That's just insane.
Speed cards is a whole other level.
Yeah.
They often combine the method of loci with intricate systems
Okay.
that assign images to each card. It's not just about speed.
Right.
It's about accuracy, too.
Right.
They train themselves to create these mental pathways and recall them with incredible precision.
Wow. So these memory athletes, they're basically creating these like mental palaces
Yeah.
filled with bizarre images
Right.
and intricate systems for every piece of information they need to remember.
Yeah.
It's fascinating, but I have to ask, is this all just for competition?
Good question.
Or are there real-world applications for these techniques?
Yeah.
I mean, could learning these methods actually help someone like me?
Absolutely.
You know,
Yeah.
someone who forgets where they put their phone 5 times a day.
Absolutely. That's what's so exciting about these techniques.
Okay.
They're not just for show.
Right.
Think about like learning a new language. Instead of struggling to memorize vocabulary lists,
Yeah.
you could create a memory palace
Okay.
filled with vivid images that link words to their meanings.
Right.
Or imagine studying for an exam.
Okay.
You could use chunking to break down complex concepts into smaller, more digestible pieces.
Okay.
Or the method of loci to link key facts to specific locations in your mental map.
Okay, I'm starting to see the potential here.
Yeah.
It's like giving your brain a set of tools to organize and access information more efficiently.
Exactly.
But let's be honest,
Yeah.
even with all these techniques,
Yeah.
remembering names and faces is still a challenge,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
I mean, I can picture a giant loaf of bread on my sofa,
Right.
but remembering someone's name after meeting them at a party,
Sure.
that's a whole different beast.
You're right. Names and faces can be tricky,
Yeah.
even for memory champions.
Right.
But here's where it gets interesting.
Okay.
They use techniques to make faces more memorable, like focusing on a distinctive feature and exaggerating it in their minds.
Okay.
You could imagine someone with a prominent nose as having a nose like Pinocchio,
Right,
or
okay.
someone with bright blue eyes as having eyes that sparkle like sapphires.
So it's about taking those visual cues and like amplifying them,
Yeah,
creating a more memorable image.
exactly.
I like it. But what about people who seem to just have like a superpower
Oh, yeah.
when it comes to remembering things?
Yeah.
You know, those individuals who can recall almost every detail of their lives?
You're talking about hyperthymesia.
Yeah.
It's a rare condition where individuals have what seems like an almost perfect autobiographical memory.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So they can remember specific events from their past
Uh,
with incredible detail and accuracy.
yes.
Even mundane things like what they ate for breakfast on
Yeah.
like a random Tuesday 10 years ago.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Wow, that's just incredible.
It is.
It's like having like a built-in video recorder
Yeah.
that captures every moment of your life.
Pretty much.
I can only imagine what that would be like.
Yeah.
Both like the benefits
Well,
and the challenge.
Indeed. But remember, these are exceptions.
Right.
For most of us, memory is something we can actively improve
Okay.
with practice and the right techniques.
So we're not just stuck with the memory we're born with.
Absolutely not.
Oh.
Our brains are remarkably adaptable.
Okay.
It's like learning any skill.
Huh.
The more you practice,
Yeah.
the better you become.
Well, that's encouraging. And it makes these memory athletes even more impressive.
Absolutely.
They're not just relying on like some superhuman ability.
Right.
They're pushing the limits of what's possible through dedication and training.
Exactly. And the diversity of the challenges they take on is incredible.
Yeah.
We haven't even touched on memorizing abstract images
Right.
or spoken numbers at high speed.
Okay, let's dive into those.
Yeah.
What's the deal with memorizing abstract images?
Okay.
Those don't exactly lend themselves to the memory palace technique, do they?
Mm.
Those don't exactly lend themselves to the memory palace technique, do they?
It's a bit more challenging.
Yeah.
But they use techniques like pattern recognition and association.
Okay.
They might break the image down into smaller shapes or look for like familiar patterns within the abstract design.
I see.
It's like finding constellations in the stars. Connecting the dots to create a memorable image.
So they're still using visualization,
Yeah.
but in a more abstract way.
Right.
What about spoken numbers?
Okay.
How do you even begin to memorize a string of numbers you just hear once?
That's where auditory memory comes into play.
Right.
They often use systems
Okay.
that assign sounds or images to each number.
Okay.
It's like a phonetic code,
Right.
translating numbers into something more meaningful.
Okay.
And then they can use chunking and visualization to create those mental links.
So it's a combination of auditory processing,
Yeah.
translation, and visualization
Yeah.
all happening at lightning speed.
Pretty much.
It's like their brains are wired differently.
Well, maybe not wired differently,
Okay.
but definitely trained differently.
Right.
And that's the key takeaway here, isn't it?
Yeah.
These memory athletes are demonstrating the incredible plasticity of the human brain.
Yeah.
They're pushing the boundaries of what we thought was possible.
Right.
And in doing so, they're showing us that memory is a skill
Mhm.
that can be honed and improved with practice.
It's inspiring, isn't it?
It is.
It's a reminder that we're all capable of so much more than we realize.
Yeah.
And speaking of pushing boundaries,
Okay.
we have to talk about the World Memory Championships.
Oh, yeah.
This list mentions all sorts of crazy events.
Oh, yeah. It's pretty intense.
Names and faces, binary numbers,
Yep.
even abstract images.
The World Memory Championships are like the Olympics of memory sports.
Wow.
They showcase the dedication, strategy, and sheer mental stamina of these memory athletes.
Yeah.
It's not just about memorizing information.
Right.
It's about speed,
Yeah.
accuracy,
Uh-huh.
and pushing your cognitive limits.
It's mind-boggling to think about the level of focus and discipline required to compete at that level.
And the
Yeah.
beauty of it is that these techniques
Yeah.
aren't just for competition.
Right?
They have practical applications in everyday life.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking.
Imagine being able to remember your grocery list without writing it down,
Oh, that would be amazing.
or recalling important facts for a presentation with ease.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like unlocking a superpower. So for our listeners out there who are feeling a bit inspired, what's a good starting point for exploring these memory techniques?
I'd say start with the method of loci.
Okay.
It's a simple yet powerful technique
Uh-huh.
that you can start using today.
Okay.
Choose a familiar place like your home
Okay.
and start associating items you want to remember with specific locations.
Great advice. And if you're feeling really ambitious,
Yeah?
check out the World Memory Championships online.
Yeah. That'd
You might be surprised at what you see.
Who knows? Maybe we'll have a future memory champion listening in right now.
Well, that's all the time we have for today's deep dive into the world of memory athletes.
It's been fun.
It's been a fascinating journey. And hopefully you've learned a few things about the incredible potential of the human mind.
It's been a pleasure exploring these amazing feats of memory with you.
And to our listeners, we encourage you to give these memory techniques a try.
Yeah.
You might be amazed at what your own brain is capable of.
Absolutely.
Until next time, keep those minds sharp.